we'll get straight into the manager, talking about the idea of it being a weak Premier League.
That everybody can have his own opinion. And the nice thing in life is that if you have your opinion, or in life, in the parts of the world where we live in, if you have your opinion, you can share it with everyone. And that's a very positive thing to have in a country, that everyone can have his opinion. And yeah, as long as that opinion comes from his idea and not from another reason, but you might have a different opinion. That's the nice thing about the world we are living in, that everybody can have his opinion.
What's your opinion?
Difficult, because I'm only here for a year, so I can only tell you what I've experienced this season, and I think it's never been as exciting for top 4, top 5 finish, because in all the years before it was quite clear which clubs would probably get the first 3 or 4 positions. It's never been as hard to end up top 4, top 5 in the Premier League. So yeah, that, in my opinion, it's a real difficult league, because that's what I've experienced over here. It's never been an easy game. It's always been very hard to win a game of football, but maybe that tells you something about us. Although we're not the only team in this league who finds it hard to win a game of football by a margin of 3 or 4 goals. And that was maybe easier 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. So either the teams are not so good anymore, the Liverpools, the Cities and the Arsenals, or we are still very good, but the other teams have the funds to spend just as much, or in some situations even more, than Arsenal, City and Liverpool.
Yeah, Craig, I mean, this idea is bollocks, and it has been bollocks forever, and I'm pleased that the manager has basically come out there and like talked about all the different ways in which it's bollocks, like talks about how competitive the top 4 is, or top 5 even as this season. Like, there's so many different levels you can say to this. Like, Aston Villa just gave PSG a really good game over 2 legs. I think PSG are the best team in Europe. We've just seen Arsenal batter Real Madrid. We're seeing Tottenham and United in the semi-finals of the Europa League now, and they're 13th and 14th, or 14th and 15th, something like that. Like, this idea that this is a weak Premier League is just complete and utter bollocks. And I'm more of like, and I don't really do the like, oh, there's a conspiracy against Liverpool kind of thing, because I just don't believe in any way that is true. But I do think that like there'll always be opposition fans who, when it's the team they don't like going up for like a title or whatever, find a way to discredit it. And I don't know, like, again, I'm not trying to do Liverpool exceptionalism, but like, I don't think we ever do that as Liverpool fans, besides maybe, you know, talk about 130 charges FC with City.
Yeah, we're signed, Josh. We never do anything wrong. The funniest bit about all of this, from when it does come from opposition fans, is the fact that if it is a shit league, then you're the problem, not us.
Yeah.
Like, you just need to hold the fucking mirror up to yourselves, because like, Liverpool have raced ahead in this league, so it's everyone else's problem if that's the case. It's because all of yous have been shit, and that's not the case. Like, I agree with what the manager said. You know, if you look at, I know Phil Wanda has this thing where if you look at the 7th or 8th best team in the league now in comparison to what it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you know, this time it's light years ahead. Yeah. You know, you look at a team like, I'm going to use the example which I think is better, which is 17th is West Ham. West Ham have Paqueta, Kudus and Bowen. They're all 3 of those Champions League players, and actually all 3 of them could get into, you know, any of the teams in the top sort of 3-4 of this league, or even across Europe. So, you know what, that shows the strength. I think that if teams are able to take points off the best teams in the league, then that shows the strength of the teams below the best teams in the league, if that makes sense. You know, rather than it being like a runaway where it's Manchester City and Liverpool, like it has been in the past, and it's the 2 of them going up against each other. You know, the reason why, you know, Arsenal are finding it more difficult is, well, they're not at that level and they're shy at title races, seemingly. But it's because the teams beneath them, the Brentfords, the Villas, the Palaces, you know, they got players like Mateta and Eze to do what Mateta and Eze did the other night. So, no, I'm not having it. And look, you know, don't give credence to the mad people online that will spout those conspiracies, because we saw them in 2020. We're used to this. The minute Liverpool are on for a title, it brings out the lunatics.
Yeah, this is the trouble these days, Sean, isn't it? Is it like, because everything is so online, everything is like so based around social media. Like, whatever the lunatics saying on social media will make its way into the press, and then suddenly you see Arne Slot getting asked questions about it, and then suddenly we're reacting to those answers as well, and it's like...
So we're the problem.
Yeah. Maybe we're the bad guys.
We're the baddies, yeah.
It's that, but it's also like you've got pundits who say it as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so and there's obviously loads more pundits these days.
Yeah.
But you've got people who've
Michael
actually
Richards and Roy Keane are the lunatics.
who've played professional football who want to sit here and say that it's a shit league because we haven't had a proper challenge, which again is nonsense. And I think a lot of it comes from the fact that because it's been so intense with like a 2-horse race or a 3-horse race in previous years, and it hasn't been as intense sort of getting into the back end of the title race this season. I think that's where it comes from. But as you've just said then, the whole premise of it being a shit league is absolute nonsense because it's harder to win every week. And the top 4, top 5, as Arne Slot said in his press conference, the battle for the Champions League places, it's probably the most exciting it's ever been. Yeah. So how can you call it a shit league if that's the case? Do you know what I mean?